Morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you just give us a few more minutes, we want to make sure everyone has enough time to join. We will be starting at 11 o'clock sharp, top of the hour, which is just in 1 minute. So go fill up your cup of coffee, get a cup of tea. Come on back. We got some great stuff for you today. All right, let's get underway. I have my oversized headset, so I think we have everything we need to get started. So thank you again for joining us this morning for our QDM Software 2026 Major Updates and Enhancements webinar. My name is Ben Reese. I'm the North America Marketing Manager working closely with our French team out of Grenoble, France. Today, as you'll see, there have been some changes to DCS, as you may have known it. But before we get into that, please make sure that you are being safe. You know where your exits are, and you're being careful with your digital footprint. Cybersecurity is very important, more so these days than before, now that digital piracy has increased during the pandemic. All right. So, a little bit about us and some of the things that have changed and some things that have gotten better. As you see, we are now Metrologic DCS. So, Dimensional Control Systems and Metrologic Group have merged to become Metrologic DCS. For those of you who are our customers, Dimensional Control Systems still exists as a legal entity for your vendor portal, so you don't have to redo any of your vendor setup for us. But moving forward, Metrologic DCS will be working tightly together and merging our systems. This is going to mean a lot of good things for you as our customers and our clients. As we interconnect our systems and we work towards reaching that Industry 4.0 mission. This is our mission statement, empowering manufacturers to achieve digital, real-time, and data-driven quality. And this includes more than just end-of-line or in-line inspection. It's going to include the entire product lifecycle. So what this means for us as a company is it means that we're going to incorporate 3D metrology, tolerance analysis, and quality data management all together under the same roof. This will allow us to interconnect these systems, advance and develop them as well to cover any gaps between them. We've got more than 50 years of experience when it comes to metrology and tolerance analysis, and we've got headquarters now in Europe, Grenoble, France, as well as here in the US. It also means that we are going to be including all of the Metrologic Group resellers, distributors, and sales offices. As you'll see in a moment, that will greatly expand our reach. Both Metrologic Group and Dimensional Control Systems, now as Metrologic DCS, are in the Sandvik Group. What this means is that, like a number of other companies, which includes Mastercam and Sigma Nest, we are under the Sandvik umbrella. All of us are moving to interconnect our products and create this stronger Industry 4.0 where your systems will be able to talk to each other and share data seamlessly between them, so you don't have to pull Excel sheets and different data sets out of one system to get them into another system or have to manually input information. As you can see, we've incorporated Metrologic Group's locations, allowing us to cover much more of the international community. This means that there's much more likely a chance that you'll have local teams able to assist you with support and training and software, making it easier for you to do business in your local language and in your local community. As I mentioned, we are putting together a complete solution for the entire product lifecycle that incorporates QDM as well as the other products from both Metrologic and DCS, and will interconnect later on with the other Sandvik business units, which includes Mastercam, Sigma Nest, and a number of others. In the, in the short term, you'll see that we've brought together Metrologic's core products, Metrolog, Silma, Planner, with our core products, 3DCS and QDM, and are interconnecting them in order to support a complete closed loop cycle. This allows you to pass data from the start, following on with a model-based definition or model-based enterprise approach, giving you the ability to move your information, move your design through all stages and utilize that model and that model's information. You can see here products along this entire chain in the solution set, starting in design for design optimization, utilizing 3DCS to make sure your PMI is good and your design is optimized for manufacture and assembly. Planner in order to create your measurement plans based off your design and based off your model. Silma letting you program offline all of your inspection programs and test those before rolling those out and using Metrolog to inspect and determine if your products are meeting those specifications based on your model and your PMI. And then today's focus, QDM, where we're going to be collecting all of that inspection data into one single source, standardizing it, and allowing you to monitor it both in real time as well as democratize that information across your enterprise, giving everybody access to the information they need when they need it. So let's move on to our actual presentation today. We have Bonton Fidelis here, one of our application engineers and specialists in QDM. Bonton actually began at Stellantis when it was Chrysler Fiat, utilizing QDM first as a customer and now as part of our team and developing and rolling out QDM. All right, let me get you set up, Bonton. Just give me a moment. Okay.
QDM suite of products working for Metrologic DCS for the past 4.5 years. Let's go through our April 2026 webinar. So we have 3 features to show in each of our uh, products. The first one is our QDM Analyst standalone SPC product, where you can convert your data into SPC charts and so on and so forth, standalone product. And then we have our QDM Web software, which is a web-based software where you can access the data from any part of the world if you have internet access. So it's a web-based system. So with our QDM Analyst software, we have 3 new features. The first one is how we can reduce the template report creation time. Um, Typically, when we look at our customers, they have uh, CAD and inspection data, and they try to create a template, which is mostly it's a manual process. So in our QDM Analyst latest solution, we have preset templates for the user, or the user can also create their own preset templates, meaning they can have their customer logos, they can have their own settings, they can have their own fonts, and they can save that as their own template. And then when they try to create a new template, they can simply load the data, load the CAD, and select their own preferences. And within a matter of few seconds or few minutes, you can create your own template. Having said that, let's go to the software itself. Let me open the software. Let me click this template wizard option here. So now it tells me like, hey, you know what, do you want to create, do you want to start from a new template, or do you want to open an existing template? For in our case, let me browse through my laptop and go to my C drive maybe, and have some start template. So in this start template, I have some logos, I have some fonts settings that I already have, so I can use the start template. I can click next. Now over here, I can select a title for uh, this standalone uh, software's SPC report. I can say April 2026 webinar, graphics, and select the CAT file. That's the first step. And you can select from different views that you want. So we have the standard list of views. You can select whichever you like. I can import data. So now I'm importing the data for this particular casting part. So I have like a 60-piece study. that was done for this part. I can click next. I can choose what type of chart that I want in this particular template. So let's use a composite chart. Uh, I want to sort the data. I can choose how many charts that I want in each page. But I like the system to decide. So it'll auto think and it'll auto populate the number of charts that's required for a page. And it'll ergonomically place the charts as well in these reports. So now within a matter of few minutes or few seconds, with the help of uh, QDM, QDM's template chart wizard, I've already created a report. So if you notice, all I needed was a cat file, uh, a data file, and I can click through probably hardly 10 steps. And I'm able to create a nice looking template from the data that I got. So this, how is this beneficial from a user standpoint or a customer standpoint is your template creation time. If you can slash those template creation time into a few minutes or even few seconds, just like how I did, I mean, engineers can concentrate on more issues that are happening in the shop floor itself. Like if you notice, like in my data, I have some deviation or there has been a shift from um, going towards normal, so they can investigate on more uh, things that are important to them. So this is our first feature that we have for in this latest version of our QDM analyst. Now let me go back to my presentation. So that's the template wizard option that I showed you. The second option is the Report Navigator Toolbox. So we have refreshed our Report Navigator Toolbox. It has some new features as well, which I'm going to show you. Typically, when you see a quality report, you have hundreds and thousands, or not thousands, I would say like tens to 100, 10 to 100 pages in a report. And sometimes it's too much to read those reports. So that's where the Report Navigator Toolbox come into place. You can navigate through these templates in a table-based format, but also you can filter down critical features, or let's say which features passed and failed based on metrics. You can do that. So having said that, let me go back to the software. We can use the same template. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to import a data file with classifications as well. So I'm going to just create my classification also. So let me go here and see. Okay, so if you notice, I have two new feature classifications as well. So now let me go back to the report navigation tool. So I can click the report navigation tool here. And if you notice, right, like it's docked to the left side. So meaning I can still look at this report navigation, but at the same time, I can walk through the different pages that I've created in the software itself. Uh, Also, if you notice, right, like I also have my feature classification that I just imported. So I can sort these feature classifications based on critical and then process features as well. I can also sort it based on the statistics that's there also. So let me close this and bring this back again. And you can sort it based on the CPK that you have. But also in this latest version, we have something called as the last three, or the last uh, five runs that I just want to see. Let's say, for example, if I want to see the last five runs, how is it looking, right? You can put up until 10 runs in this particular page. But let's say if I just put last one, for example, I can come over here and see how was the last run, right? Like, so in this case, if you notice, right, like for the bottom four features, the last run has been really nice, right? So there could be a reasoning why that went well. So sometimes for quality engineers, they want to know even though you have a sample set of 60 or 90 samples, they just want to know how did my last 5 or last 10 run, right? So that's where the um, the report navigation toolbox will come into play. You can also filter it based on just the critical features. So now with just a click of a button, I am now only focused on the critical features that I have. Or let's say if I want to make a tool change and I want to know how my process features are running, I can filter these out from this report navigation toolbox, and I can only focus on the report navigation page over here. So yeah, this is a very good feature that a quality engineer or a dimensional engineer can have in their toolbox, which would be beneficial for them. Now, the third feature that we have in this standalone software is the box and whisker plot, right? Sometimes, let's say you have these 60 samples or 90 samples where you have trend charts. You have you might have means CP and CPK, but it won't entirely tell you the true story or the true picture. So trend charts can be good, but it can be limiting as well. Sometimes they omit the range or the control limits. We don't know what's the median. It not necessarily tells you the process spread as well. So the solution for this is the box and whisker plot, right? So right now in our previously before in our composite charts, we only had the option to show the trend charts, but now in the latest version, we can also show the box and whisker plot, which shows you the data spread, which shows you the range and the median as well. So this gives a different perspective or different aspect for a quality engineer or a dimensional engineer to look at the data in a different way and make the decisions based on the box and whisker plot. So now, having said that, how do I create this box and whisker plot? So now, if you notice, right, like I have my composite charts, but it's showing a run chart. I can go to options, chart settings, click composite chart. So now over here, I have an option to select show box whisker plot. So I can click apply. Now within a click of a button, I can see the box and whisker plot in a horizontal way. Sorry, in a vertical way. But we also have the option to display it in a vertical way as well. So now this gives a different perspective of from a dimensional engineer standpoint. So it tells you what's the median of it, like how many samples were fallen within a range. So it provides a different aspect from a quality engineer or a dimensional engineer's perspective. So this is the box and whisker plot that's newly added in the latest version. To recap what we have seen in for the new features that we have added in the QDM Analyst software, is the first one which we saw was the template wizard um, option, which reduces the template creation time by almost 80%. The second one was the Report Navigator Toolbox, which basically helps locate the quality issues across, let's say, if you have 10 to 20 pages of report. So it's easier to filter features as well from, let's say, process features or critical features. The third feature is the trend chart. So typically, we've only seen trend charts across a run chart or a composite chart. Box and whisker plot will give you a different dimension to what the quality engineer or the dimensional engineer will see from a data perspective. So these are the three new features that was added in the latest version of our standalone QDM Analyst software. Let's go to our QDM web enhancements that we have had in this past release. So what is our QDM web software? So QDM web software is nothing but a web-based environment. So meaning, if let's say if I'm traveling and if I want to see how my plant is doing with respect to data, with the help of an internet connection, and let's say if I have laptop or iPad or iPhone, I can just log into a system, and I can view my QDM web QI system over here. So now if you notice, right, like this is our QDM web QI system that I have. But before I go into the QDM web QI system, what are the three new features that we have? Let's go through it, right? So the first one is the Q events dashboards, right? Typically in a plant environment, right? Like you need quality engineers. Sorry, you need quality engineers to assign special classes which are not sorry, which are not dimensional issues, or it could be as simple as let's say this particular part had like a burr, or let's say if it was like an operator failure or a material default, you somehow need these events to be uh, inputted into the system, right? So right now we kind of had a solution, but we have enhanced that solution called as Q events, which supports sorry which supports assigning failure modes, right? Like FEMAs to quality issues. We can also highlight like what's the most frequent failure modes that I'm sorry, what's the most frequent failure modes to guide the corrective action. We can also enable filtering by the failure mode. So let's say, for instance, if you have like a material issue or a deburr issue, which has been happening across the plant, like how many material defects that I've been having across, let's say, 10, 15 quality parts, right? So you have different kinds of filtering capability that you can do with respect to the QVents dashboard. So let me go into the system now. Uh, and maybe walk you through one of the inspection programs that we have. So yeah, this is the block inspection that we saw in our QDM analyst software. So so I have some quality events that was added in this particular feature for this particular diameter. So now if you notice, right, for this particular sample, I found like a chip issue, or I found a burr issue. See, that's being inputted by the operator from the shop floor. So now we have these kind of issues that's happening on the shop floor. But now instead of going into each and every inspection program and view these defects, I can go to what we call as the Q events dashboard, and we can have like an overview of how many burr issues happen in which inspection program. So like for instance, let's say I have an improper handling issue which happened in two of the four inspection programs that I have, or I have burr issues, or I have an operator error. So you can add different kinds of ins- uh, Q events as well. Again, how do I add these Q events, or how do we get these event categories? Again, that's customizable from a user or a client's perspective. So some users or some clients might have a different wording. So the system is customizable for according to your needs. So everything that you see over here is customizable and can be catered to your own needs. So that's key over here, because not all customers are the same. They want their own flavor added into the system. So this is our Q events dashboard that we have in our system right now. The next feature that we have is our visual data entry portal. So what do I mean by visual data entry portal, right? Like sometimes you need to have some instructions for operators to measure features, right? Like so for let's say if I have 6 hole diameters, which one should I measure first? There will be a sheet where it says, okay, you have to measure hole 1 and then hole 2, and then you have to measure hole 5 and then go to hole 4. So there could be a sequence also. So in order to uh, customize or meet the needs, typically what we have seen is in the shop floor we have like a sheet where where it tells you the sequence, and then you have to go back and measure again. It's there is no like we haven't seen like a digital case where it's automatically guided in the software itself. So that's where the visual data entry portal comes into place, right? Like it shows you a visual guided sequence of required measurements for operators. uh, Also, right after measuring, we can have automatic updates of the statistics uh, that's being that's being added by the operator. We can have real-time alerts to the stakeholders. Let's say if an operator is measuring the shop floor, quality engineers or quality managers can view the real-time data that's being inputted into the system. So having said that, let me go into the system here again. Uh, let me use, let me log in into the system. I want to use this block manual part that I have. I want to select data, and I want to click generate report here, which goes to our page. So let's say if I go here, I just want to view the report first and see. So in this case, I have only 3 samples that was measured in the past few days. Uh, so I have, this is a simple part. If you notice, I have 4 holes. I The operator might have like a caliper that they can use to measure these 4 holes. We have an option called enter data entry mode. uh, we can choose your specific JSON number. So let's say if I can say or 001, for instance, right? Uh, and then I can type in my operator name. So let's say if I type in my name, and I can use, let's say when I'm measuring, so I can say a shift 2, for instance. I can confirm, and now now I enter into this data entry mode. So typically, this is the screen that the operator would see. So they enter their information, they come over here. They can do this in 2 ways, right? Like, so the first way is like they can measure the part and then input the values into the system. Let's say if it's a pass, I can just simply say pass and go to the next measure. Or they can just measure it and then you can just type in manually. That's another way of doing it. Uh, the third way is like you can connect your device, right? Like you can, let's say, caliper that's connected to the system. Uh, they measure the part, and then the system automatically inputs the values into the system. So at the end, once everything is done, I can simply click submit sample. What it does is it submits the data into the system. Okay? So now, having said that, let me go back here. Try to refresh the screen. Sorry. It takes a couple of seconds to update the report. So let's say if I go here and if I can type some samples, so I should be able to see the sample that was inputted just now, which is the AP001 sample that I just typed in. I can also view the report. So if I go back here and if I click generate report, I can view different types of reports that I want. So this report can be in a screen that's there in another environment or in a big screen in your shop floor. And all these values are updated instantaneously based on the samples that were measured and inputted into the system. So that's the second new feature that we wanted to show, because this actually reduces the measuring time and also the time to input the system in time to input the values from an Excel and then uploading it into our QDM system or any SP system takes time. So we just probably are avoiding the middleman part and then inputting this values directly into the system. So that's where the visual data entry portal uh, is key. It's graphically appealing as well. Now, the third feature that we have is the comparing scans. So what's the customer hurdle that's there, right? Like, so the customer hurdle is what we have seen is the root cause analysis sometimes becomes difficult when you have all these data, right? Like you have like 30 samples, 60 samples, you have all these samples sitting, one sample is sitting in one place and the other sample would be sitting in a different location. You don't have a method to view those both results side by side, right? Like, so that's always the key, right? Like whenever we see a dimensional report, we want to know like how it was before and how it was after. So that's something that every quality engineer or a dimensional engineer, they would want to uh, see that. So having said that, what we have done is like we support on-demand comparisons of scans. So let's say if you have two scans, let's say if I'm the closures engineer and if I'm doing a die change, right, like based on data that I got before or the scans that I got before, now I have a before die cut scan, and now after the die cut, I'm producing a part, and then I have an after die cut part as well. So I can simply do a before and an after die cut and just compare it side by side on the same screen. Uh, what it does is it's very easy. You can see like before and after scan comparisons. Also, you can add Q notes. So let's say if you add what do I mean by Q notes? Q notes is something that, let's say if you find an issue while reviewing the data, you can simply click a button and then say, hey, you know what, this is the issue that I found, and then uh, it's added into the quality system itself. So you can also send emails from the system, which I'll probably show you. Uh, and you can have like action results as well. You can also do a quick correlation between scan and CMM data. So that's something that you can also quickly do as well from this particular feature. So having said that, let me go into the system again. Uh, Let me maybe jump into the all favorites, choose my right hand door outer, I go to quality scan. So now I have this door outer over here. Uh, if I go into this option called compare views, so this is where I have like 5 scans, right? So I have 3 samples that was done before a die change, and then I have 2 samples that was measured after die change using the same alignment. So now I'm going to click the before die change sample one and then after die change sample one as well. I'm going to click select, and I'm going to click select again. So now what I'm looking for is for colors or deviations which have changed from my before die cut versus like an after die cut. So over here, if you notice, I have a big chunk of red near my near this part, near this mirror handle. So let's say if I click this, right? So let's say if I have all these data points which I'm interested in, I can also, what, zoom in. Okay, so I can zoom in this part. So now what I want is I want to select these exact same 5 points uh, on my right side, which is the after die change. I can click the sync from left to right option. And now what it does is it mimics the same view and also gives you the exact same 5 points. So now if you notice, for example, this point over here, right? Like it's close to 1.1, but then over here, it's like a 0.75 millimeters, right? So you have a difference of zero point 0.5. So within a matter of few seconds or a few minutes, I can easily say the part has improved, right? Like from the before die change to like an after die change. So this is the tool that the quality engineer or the dimensional engineer would want to have in their toolbox. If I can compare 2 scans quickly, side by side, not in 2 screens, the same screen split into two with 2 samples here, I can easily make my decisions, right? Like this is something every quality engineer would want to have in their toolbox, right? So uh, so in this way, this gives them like a confirmation testing for them to say, hey, you know what, the decision that was made to, to do a die cut is the right one, right? So uh, that's something that you want to do. You can also change the scales if you want to. So let's say if I am want to do like a zero point 0.5, I can simply change to a zero point 0.5 on one side and then view the other side with a different scaling also. So that's something the user can do. The other thing that I mentioned previously or at the start of this feature was correlation, right? So let's say if I have, let's say I just want to remove all these labels, and if I'm focused on the hemming area, I can select 2 points, and if I had some hemming edge features which was measured, uh, you can quickly do a quick correlation comparison. So let's say if this was measured using a point cloud system, so a CloudWise or a scanning device, whereas this was measured using a CMM, you can quickly say, you know what, this has a zero point 0.5 mean, this one has like a 0.235 mean. Are they close to each other? You can quickly do a correlation, right? Like between two different systems. So you can also use this comparing feature in that way also. So meaning uh, this might measuring the data is one thing, but you also have to make sure that the data that's being measured is also is telling me the right story, right? From a system point of view. So you can do that as well. You can compare two different types of reports from this scanning module. Q notes. So the last thing that I want to show is like Q notes. So let's say if I find a new point, and if I want to add a Q note from this page, I can add a Q note. So what do I mean by Q note? So instead of, let's say if I find an issue or if I want to send something to my fellow engineers or my manager, instead of taking a screenshot and putting it into my email, I can add a Q note from here, right? Like, so let's say if I want to send an email to uh, a, another person, right? Like over here. So let's say if I want to send this to Satya and Steve over here, I can simply select my two contacts, and I can say, you know what, this part improved after the die cut change, right? So you can say you can do an action type. You can choose between the different options that we have. The action, kappa, resolve. Let's say if an action is required, you can do. You can also attach this screenshot. So meaning whenever the Q note is sent as an email, they will also receive this as like an attachment, like a screenshot. So in that way, I've done everything from within the system itself. So just to touch base upon a little bit upon the Q notes, the Q notes is at this stage, the Q notes will become a knowledge base, right? So let's say if you work on a project from start to end, and if you're recording all these events from a Q notes perspective, it becomes a knowledge database for your quality engineers. When they work on from one issue to another issue, we can quality notes become very beneficial. We can probably have a separate session for this Q notes part if the team wants. But yeah, that's the comparing scan features that we have. You can also basically what I did is to recap. I compared scan versus scan. You can also do a scan versus CMM, or you can also CMM versus CMM. So that's the part maybe I didn't show, but yeah, you can also do. Let's say if you have two CMM reports, you can compare the two CMM reports as well. Um, Let me go back here. So this was the last thing or the last feature that I had. So just to recap from a QDM web standpoint, the QDM web is a web-based browser environment where you can access the data from any part of the world if you have internet access. So in that we have three new features. The first feature is the QVents dashboard. QVents dashboard is a way for the quality engineers to assign special causes to, let's say, chart variations or FMEA, uh, and highlight the most frequent failure modes to guide corrective action. The second feature that we saw is a visual data entry portal where the system guides the operators on the sequencing. Let's say if I have for all holes, it guides me through which holes need to be measured first, uh, second, third, and fourth. in a visual way. Uh, the third feature is comparing scans. So let's say if I have two scans, one was done before a dye change and the other was done after a dye change. You can compare these two scans in the same screen, split into two, and you can basically compare the reports. You can also do a scans versus scans. You can do scans versus dimensional reports. You can also do dimensional report versus a dimensional report as well. And based on these reports, you can add Q notes. So that would complete the sequence of events from a quality engineer or a dimensional engineer perspective. Uh, I think that's pretty much what I had for today's session. I think Ben, we can open the floor for any Q&A.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you. Okay, let me just hop over. All right, and then Bantan, make sure you. I know I just muted you. Can you unmute yourself now again?
Yeah, sure, Ben. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. All right, we have about 10 minutes or so for just a few quick questions for Q&A. So if you have any questions regarding the material, please utilize your questions section. Great. Some great comments. Thank you, everybody. Um, looks like this one's from one of our own people, Spencer. Thank you for the love this compare views. Now, is there, okay, appreciate that very much. Looking at some different ways to showcase before and after. Um, just have a few questions from early in the presentation. Um, some basics first and foremost. What is the latest version that this applies to for QDM? What version are all these updates in for licensing?
So yeah, so this should be available in the latest version, 8.1.2. So
Okay.
in order to access that version, yeah, you can ask your respective AEs also, and they should be able to give you a link to download the latest version.
All right. Yeah, and as just a reminder for licensing, the first two digits are the only ones that are required for the license. So if you've got a license that supports version 8.1, it'll support all of the patches and updates to 8.1. Now, there is a major release expected this year. Is that correct?
Yes, so we have a release scheduled for September of this year.
So it'll be in
So
the
when that,
fall.
yeah, it's in fall. Yeah, that is
All
right.
right, for those of you who are interested, we are also looking to plan a user event in the fall in mid-October here in Troy, Michigan at Automation Alley. At that event, we're looking to showcase the new versions of both 3DCS and QDM, as well as showcase a new product offering from Metrologic DCS. So that event, we're going to keep it as inexpensive as possible so we can get as many of our clients to join. As I said again, that's going to be mid-October. The registration page should be up next week, and I'll be sharing that with everybody via email. So please keep your eyes open for that. Let's take a look at one or two more questions. Here's one in regards to some issue tracking. So I am working on Greenbelt related issues and need to document notes for a feature so they can be accessed and reviewed later. Does QDM support this? And is there a way for me to document these notes?
Oh, yes, definitely. So this is where Q notes come into place. So let's say if you're working on a feature
Are
and
you able to, do you have QDM web up? Are you able, could you show us a Q note real quick?
let me try.
I'll just have to set you up as sharing real fast.
Okay.
Again, make presenter.
Yeah. Okay, let me know when you can see
All
my
set.
screen. Okay.
All set. There
So
you
this is
go.
the home screen. Let's say if I want to add a Q note for a specific part, I can come here and look at the feature and click this plus sign here. Over here, I can add a Q note. So I can say, let's say if it's an action item that has to be done in order to improve this feature, you can do that. So you can add the Q notes from the home page. You can add Q notes from a report while accessing the report itself. You can add a Q note. You can also add a Q note from the quality scan page also. So there are different entry points to add Q notes. So you don't have to go outside the system and then grab notes and put it somewhere. So it's everything is done within the system itself.
Mm, mm. All right, fantastic. All right, and is there a way to tag or notify specific people of Q notes?
Yes, there is. So I can send an email. So let's say if I have to send this email to Thakur Vivek, I can send an email saying like, you know what, the feature uh, is- say has to be removed, right? And I can add an attachment as well, the file attachment or the file link also. Um, but again, it depends, right? Like, let's say if you have a file link to another system. So let's say if you are working on a greenbelt project and it's in a different system, you can add the link to that system over here also, and you can click submit. So once you click submit, now it sends an email to Thakur Vivek as well from the system. You don't have to go outside of the system to do it.
Okay, and you can use that for corrective actions and such. So once they address it, they can change the status and
Yes, they can. They can do that as well.
all right,
So,
fantastic.
meaning they can add different kind of statuses. It can be an action item. It can be resolved when the issue is resolved. Also, yeah.
All right, thank you, Bantan. I appreciate it. It looks like that's all of our questions that we have in for today. I do want to let everyone know that today's session is recorded, so you'll be receiving a copy of the recording via email. Also included in that, I'm going to add the Stellantis case study, which showcases how Stellantis is utilizing QDM at across their organization, and they are continuing to expand it. So that might be a nice reference for you to take a look at how some of our clients are utilizing QDM to support their manufacturing and their real-time data collection. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone again for joining us today. Thank you so much, Bantan, for your presentation today. We appreciate it. And we
Yep.
hope that everyone will join us for our next webinar. Keep an eye on our website as we continually update it. We do have a new website, metrologicdcs.com. It is in the first phase of launch. So if you keep an eye on it, it'll continually be adding new material, new content over this year as we continually update it. So please keep an eye on that in your email for more information about our next webinar and our fall user conference here in Troy, Michigan. All right, thanks again. At this time, I'm going to close down the webinar and we hope to see everyone next time. All right, goodbye.